Welcome back to another episode of the MacRumors Show. We did take a little bit of a break. I wonder if people would feel more if they would be much more appreciated if we announced when we were going to take breaks. But you know what? That's what keeps you on your toes, because we don't actually know when we're going to take these breaks either. So we did have a couple people who were like, "What happened?" So it's nice to know that people do listen in weekly, and we're slightly disappointed that we didn't post an episode. But we're back. We're back. It's this time of the year, where things are a little bit slow, but expecting 2024 to ramp up pretty quickly, and we should have some good episodes coming up here. But today we wanted to talk about services because Hartley just brought it to my attention, something that I completely forgot about, and that's the fact that I am now paying more for Apple One than I thought I was, because I completely forgot about this. And Hartley has some beef with Apple One, or are you just kind of like just struggling to figure out if it's still worth it for you? I think that's kind of like the basis of this episode.
Yeah, I guess that's where I am. I've always believed that Apple One is essentially good value if you use all the services, because
Right.
you're basically getting some of those thrown in for free. But I do wonder, with the price going up quite so significantly, especially for the premium plan, that's
Mhm.
now $37, which is a
Yeah,
pretty
which is
substantial price hike.
it's gross.
Um,
That's a lot of money.
so I guess even if personally I'm still okay with paying that because I still get really good use out of the services, I think a lot of people are kind of in a position where they're considering, is this still worth it? Do I drop down a plan? Which services are worth it and which ones maybe are not so widely used?
For those of you who are sitting there thinking, what is Apple One? And you're kind of one of those people who never switched over and are just paying separately for services, listen up, because you might actually save some money depending on what you use. So individual plan starts at $20. Well, I'm going to round up. It's $19.95 a month, but we'll just say $20 a month. And you get iCloud Plus, which is 50 gigs of storage. You get Apple TV Plus, and you get Apple Music and Apple Arcade. Then you can go up to the next one, which is the family plan, and you get 200 gigs of iCloud Plus storage and the same, three other services: TV Plus, Music, and Arcade. And then with Premiere, well, did I mention the family plan? The family plan is $26. We round up. Then with Premiere, which would be $38 rounding up, you'd get 2 terabytes of iCloud Plus, TV Plus, Music, Arcade, Fitness Plus, and News Plus. So with that said, Hartley, I'm going to run through some of these, and I
Okay.
want you to tell me. I want you to tell me what you use and
Okay.
how often you use them. Okay,
Okay.
so iCloud Plus. I feel like that's kind of the thing that gets you poking into this, right? You're like, okay, I need iCloud storage. I probably need more than the 5 gigs that you get for free. Like, what makes more sense for me? What is it? It's like $2.99 a month if you just did it separately for 200, right? I'm just guessing from what I
That
recall.
sounds about right, but prices have
Yeah,
probably gone up since it was
and
that.
things have probably changed, but I feel like it was like 200 gigs was like $2.99 a month or whatever, when I was doing it before I went to the bundle. So how many gigs of iCloud storage are you actually using? Do you want to pull up your phone and see?
Oh, that's an
Because
interesting question.
that's where this, like, you think, how much you pay for is one thing. How much you're actually using is another.
I'm using just under 500 gigs. So
Okay.
that's a respectable amount. It's above the 200 gig tier, but there's obviously no in between. So you have to jump straight from 200 up to 2 terabytes.
To 2 terabytes. So you're paying for Premiere. So you got the 2 terabytes. Apple TV Plus. Now, we had a conversation about Apple TV Plus, I recall, months ago, and you telling me you haven't seen a single original program. So this, in my mind, unless something has changed, is just a big fat nothing burger for you. You're just not using this.
Yeah, I'm not using it.
Okay. So,
But my family uses it, so that kind of counts.
so does Premiere give oh, okay, so you're up to with 5 people. So you're sharing with 5
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
But are you still paying for it, or are you guys all splitting it?
No, I'm still paying for it.
You're just paying for the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's my family, so obviously I'm the one paying for it. It's not like I have like people outside of my immediate family. It's just me and my wife, and I guess I gave my 6-year-old like an account just for his iPad, but he doesn't use any of that anyways. Oh, he's 7 now. I don't even know the ages of my own kids. um, when you got once you got 2 or 3 of them, it's they're there. So okay, TV Plus you don't use. You're two. And wait, when you looked at your iCloud storage, was that for everyone? That's the
Yeah.
total, right?
Yeah. It
Man.
shows you the total.
And how many people are you sharing with?
Uh, 2.
Like including yourself, so there's 3 people total?
Yeah, 3 people total.
Okay. So technically mine is 3 people total, but my son doesn't count in this because he does not use it. So for me, it's just me and my wife. Let's actually I'm gonna do this alongside with you. Let's see what I have for
It
iCloud.
adds up because you've got backups across your devices, and if you have an iPad as well, that does add up. And then,
oh,
of course, you've got photos, videos, all this stuff takes up a bunch of space.
dude, is there something higher than 2 terabytes?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I might be getting there soon. Me and my wife take up 1.3 terabytes.
That is a lot. What do you think that is? Mostly photos and videos?
I don't. It's got to be photos and videos, and honestly, like I can't show you, but like the bar of like her stuff and my stuff, she's almost more than me. What is she doing? Family usage 614 gigs. Yes, we're pretty even actually. 614 gigs on her end, and she's using. My son uses 286.3 kilobytes, so he is irrelevant in this. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be photos and videos. Just I don't know what else she would do. She doesn't do anything else. She does take a significant amount of pictures of our kids, so that makes sense. Okay, so I'm using enough. You need that middle tier. There should be a 1 terabyte. That would be perfect for you. Maybe lower that price down a couple dollars a month.
I do get quite good use from some of the other things included in iCloud Plus, which I feel like a lot
What
of
else
people
is
forget
included?
about.
Yeah, because I've just literally forgot as you just
So
said
you
that.
get iCloud Private Relay.
Oh, those things. Okay, yeah.
You get Hide My Email, which I like the idea of when I'm signing into stuff, but I don't know if this annoys you if you ever use it, but then you get an email from whatever company or app you've signed into, and it says something like, Dear C3PO at apple.com. And it just looks...
Wait. Is that your
No,
actual
it's
email
just like
address?
digits. It just makes you sound like a robot.
See, that'd be a cool email.
I'm sure that one is taken. But it's just annoying to me, and I know it doesn't matter, and it is handy. I do use it sometimes if maybe I don't fully trust the app or the website, and I also use the custom email domain service, which was actually quite easy to set
For
up.
what?
So I have a personal website, and it just lets me have a custom email domain. So if I don't want to have at iCloud.com, I can have whatever I like, and I do get some use out of that. So there are some other things thrown in there. Oh, you also get HomeKit Secure Video, which is quite useful.
That is actually
forget about that.
Pretty important. Yeah, they should advertise that more up front.
So you do get some other things thrown in with iCloud Plus. I feel like I get good use out of that, out of the whole Apple One bundle.
So, and you know what? Later we should do a little breakdown of like, are you actually saving money depending on what we find useful and what we use?
Yeah.
But right now we're just looking at the bundle itself. So that's $38. You're using iCloud Plus. You seem happy, even though you're not using the storage amount right now. It doesn't mean you don't have it. You can always use it later. iCloud Private Relay, I don't think I ever use, or if it's on, and I'm not noticing any benefits of that. Hide My Email is another one that I would have been like, who cares about that? But I actually do use that all the time. Literally anytime I sign up for anything, it's default to hide it. And that is useful, I guess. But it's not something you think about. It just kind of happens, second nature. And then this HomeKit Secure Video for sure. If you got HomeKit cameras, that is worth it. Okay, TV Plus, nothing for you. I do use TV Plus. I don't watch a lot of TV Plus content, but I definitely watch. I've watched significantly more shows than you have. I think I've seen all of the major ones. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely worth it for me. I would be paying for it. Are you one of those people, by the way, that if you watch a service, like sign up for a service for specific shows, do you cancel it in between when those shows are not airing?
No, I'm the polar opposite, and it's actually bad.
Too.
It's like I'm still paying for Netflix,
and
I don't know if I've watched a show on Netflix for at least 6 months, which is really bad. But then when I go to cancel, I think, oh, there's all these other things I want to watch, and that's how they get me.
I have a really dumb pride thing about some of these services. Like Netflix, I was a subscriber since 2007 when I was getting DVDs. I've been paying that company every month of my life for 16 years. I don't want to do the math of how much my actually I should I should probably say maybe for a few of those months my dad and I were sharing a thing. You know, he was paying for it for the DVD. But definitely since they went to streaming service, like when they initially launched streaming, I got my own account. I've been paying them however many dollars a month since then. And I'm like, well, I don't want to cancel it. I've been there for so long. It's like we have a little relate. Yeah, but I don't watch a lot of stuff on there. I mean, I have watched it and opened it up probably a lot more than judging by what you just said. You have. But yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those people. I don't cancel anything because I'm like, well, I don't know when I'm going to want it back, and it's inconvenient for me
Yeah.
to have to sign back up, and the prices might go up, and then you're not locked into some of those. It's just such a waste of money. Okay, so TV Plus is, I would say, useful for me, not useful for you. Here's where things are going to switch. Apple Music, definitely useful for you, not at all useful for me, and yet I
Yeah.
am still paying for it.
I love Apple Music. I think it's probably my favorite service of all of them. I've
Okay.
had great use out of it. I actually regret not signing up for it earlier. I was a little bit of a latecomer with Apple Music. I was still managing my iTunes library and then sort of reluctantly went over to streaming. And yeah, I love it. It's not without its problems. As we've talked about many times, some of those algorithmic features and custom generated playlists are not there, but then you do get great library management. So I really like that. I'd like to see more social features. Um, and I would like to see, obviously, a better Mac app. I think that goes without saying. But other than that, I have really no complaints.
Yeah, I really like the look of Apple Music. I love the management of libraries, like you said. That's kind of something you don't really get, um, or it's not the same experience on Spotify. But I guess I've gone to the. I mean, I still love listening to full albums. I'm still old school in that regard, but it's definitely dwindling compared to what it used to be for me. And I have become playlist person more than I ever thought I would be. Um, so, I mean, yeah, I'm just stuck with Spotify because they really excel in that area. And I don't know, maybe I'll switch one day. I mean, I pay for both. I use both sometimes. I just don't use Apple Music as a default. Um, okay, so that's kind of one for one. We'll say one and a half. One and a half useful things for you. Um, and one, well, no, we'll say two. Okay, so 2 out of 3 you find useful. Apple Arcade. How often are you playing Apple Arcade?
I like one Apple Arcade game, and I have probably spent a terrifying number of hours playing that
Oh,
single Apple Arcade game, but
what is it?
no others. Mini Motorway. It's just
Mini
a great.
Motorway?
It's just a great game.
What is it?
Honestly. Well,
Is this racing?
Have you played Mini Metro?
No, man. You're
They have it
speaking
on
of.
like the iPhones in Apple stores. It's one of the games Apple likes to promote. So it's just this
I'm
this
looking
game
at
where
it.
you have these sort of stations or like depots or workplaces. I don't know what they're supposed to be, and then little houses, and you have to connect the little houses to the little depots. But your city gets busier and busier, so you have to make the roads efficient. It's kind of like a puzzle, but it grows until inevitably your city is so inefficient that it runs out of time. Uh, and I have played no other Apple Arcade games other than that. Not properly, anyway. I might have downloaded the odd one out of curiosity. So I don't know if I've really had my use out of Apple Arcade, but I do really like that game. And I
Well,
have been playing that now since it came out.
I got a couple of thoughts here. Apple Arcade. I don't know, people who are listening, if you want to look at, I can't even focus on this. Anyways, like the design, the UI for these games, and the way things look in the App Store is so much better than anything else. It just looks really nice. So that's a kudos to them. But can we just talk about a complaint that I had as of 30 seconds ago trying to find Apple Arcade? I literally searched for Apple Arcade as if it was a app on its own.
Uh,
Can it just be a damn standalone app? And honestly, as I was thinking about that, all of this happened while you were talking, by the way. I had that thought, and then I had the thought of, why are we not just like kind of streaming these games? And then if you need to download it because you have a terrible connection or you want to make sure you have it all offline, like that should be a standalone app. You can probably stream these games much like NVIDIA and all of that. And then if you want to take it up and download the games, then you can still do that. I feel like they could do that.
I feel like that doesn't really fit with Apple's the
No,
way they try
but
and market their devices, because their emphasis is always on the power of the device, and every year they try and persuade us that we need a super powerful new chip. And if then they start
listen,
saying, well, now you don't need the chip, then
I
there's a
don't
little bit
think
of a
you need a
conflict.
powerful chip to play this game.
No, that is true. It is just a very entertaining little game.
Now,
Um,
so you play. So what would you rank that for you? Would you like? Can you not get rid of our Apple Arcade because of
if I
this?
didn't have Apple Arcade anymore, part of me would be a little bit sad that I could not play that game.
Is that an exclusive?
I believe so.
Okay.
So it certainly was when it debuted.
Okay.
But it wouldn't, it's not going to ruin my life if I
Right.
can't play that game.
You know what? I'm going to download it. I'm going to play it. I want to see what it's all about. Um, okay. So yeah, for me. Well, so wait, did we get your take? Is it useful? Would you pay for
Um,
Apple Arcade specifically for this?
Probably not.
Okay, so we're going to put it as a no.
Yeah.
You could do the same for me. However, I have been playing way more Apple Arcade stuff lately, just because of these like little micro events that I've been going to and talking to all these developers of these games. I really like Sonic, and I was actually, I think it came out yesterday or 2 days ago. But I've been playing it for a little while. I've had the chance to play it early. Super fun, and so I'm not saying it's worth it for me because of that. I'm going to put it as a no, but if you're a phone gamer for sure. Now, we haven't done this yet, but I'm dangerously close in my parenting career to where I'm just like at a restaurant or something, just take my phone, leave me alone. Just for 5 minutes, I want to be able to eat my food without anyone complaining. Or we're not there yet. We're trying really hard to be quote unquote good parents, and I'm not saying that people who give you guys are just smarter and way ahead of us, is what you're doing. But like we're trying to just do the whole family eats dinner together thing, but man, it's really tough. So maybe that's when Apple Arcade could really be beneficial. And we haven't done road trips with iPads yet, but now my kids are graduating to full-blown iPads, and so when we do go on a trip here in the next couple of months, I might just be like, hey, here's some games on Apple Arcade that exist, do you want to download some? And I'm paying for it, so I might as well start letting them play it. So
And I guess
that's
this is where Apple Arcade kind of strengthens the Apple One bundle, in that someone like you or I may not necessarily pay for it standalone, but I am kind of glad it's there in the bundle.
right.
And if it works out to that's the one that I get free, or that's the one that ends up costing a couple of dollars, then I'm fine with that.
Right. And so that's kind of where we're at, is like it will be useful for me. I guarantee you that in the future. But right now it's a no. So we have iCloud and TV for me, iCloud and music. So 2 and 2. So 2 for 4, batting 50% here with 2 more remaining. This next one is going to make me feel really sad, but Fitness Plus. If you look at me, you'll know I am not using Fitness Plus. And so I really, I think I shouldn't even talk about it, because like I opened it up one time when we had Fitness Plus release and did coverage, and I've seen it a few times, but I have not used it. So you use it, right?
I do. I don't use it really so much anymore, because I do think this is a service that does need some improvement. And it's not so much in the quality of the workouts or in the trainers or the Apple Watch integration. All of this stuff is really great. My issues with it are really quite specific. I don't like the lack of progression, the way you can't sort of undertake a course of workouts to reach a specific goal. And I know that Apple would say that you can now, because now you can put together a workout routine and you can queue up different workouts, and they present different sort of groups of workouts to do different things, but it doesn't go far enough. So it doesn't provide you with, say, a 6-week course to do something, and it's almost episodic. So it builds on knowledge, because where each workout is standalone, you can't really build on anything that you've learned in previous workouts. So that's where it's good if you want to dive in for a one-off workout, but it's not so useful if you have long-term goals. It's the sort of thing
Yeah.
that maybe you might use when you're traveling and you don't have access to a gym, and you just want to do something in your hotel room. or you maybe just are working out a little bit more casually. But
So
I
it's not
don't.
programming. It's not like a program or systemic, like system based.
Yeah, and I feel like for most people that are going to use that service or be interested in it, you would want at least a little bit of a sense of progression with the service. Even little things bother me, like you can't just watch the next episode. There is like you could on a streaming service. So if it knows I want to do a strength workout, it doesn't just show me the next strength workout. It will only show me the most recent one. Whereas someone like me wants to go from oldest to newest.
I feel like that's got to be the next progression of this if they're going to take it seriously. I mean, they could very well just sit on their hands and just be like, "Oh, we are adding more programs or more classes," but like they don't have anything to. They're not a program or a structure to like a 3 week fat loss weight program or something like that. Where I don't think Peloton does that either, or at least the last time I checked, it was kind of the same way, right? It was very much just classes. Um, and you don't really progress. I'm not the person to talk about this. I am very much the guy who really wants to get into better shape, does and try a lot of these things, and I go through like you know little cycles of like, hey, I'm working out again, and then something happens, get sick, and you get off your track, and then it's really hard to get back on. Fun fact: started back up yesterday again, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there are other better options for this. Um, if you want something like what you said, where it's more of a structure and see some goals thing. But I mean, it's very well done. It's a great app.
Oh yeah. And even other little features sort of sweeten the deal, like the meditations are really good, the mindful cool downs are really good, and even things like time to run and time to walk. They're just fun little features. I'd actually like to see more of those. There aren't enough episodes for my liking.
The Apple
So
Watch, the Apple Watch integration too, just being there and seeing it on your TV is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, it's a no for me, dog. If I can quote my friend Randy Jackson from American Idol.
uh, I would say it's mostly a yes for me, but
Okay,
I'm not
good for
hundred
you.
percent convinced.
Congratulations on all of your fitness success.
Oh, I don't know
Um,
though. I don't know. I don't know about that.
so would you like to see, like, I'm surprised Apple didn't buy Peloton when it was like spiraling and like people were, it was like thinking that it was going to shut down or like someone was going to swoop in and buy it. I don't even know if that actually happened. I have not paid attention to it.
But the reason why they didn't do that is because Peloton did not have intellectual property that was unique. So,
It's true, but they had the user
oh,
base. But I guess Apple does too, but they could just
yeah,
force everyone to go over.
yeah. So I think that also there were concerns around Peloton isn't necessarily family friendly in the
It's
content of the
not.
workouts. And whereas Apple Fitness Plus is, and also then there's all the added baggage of the fitness equipment, which is where Peloton was absolutely hemorrhaging money. And it was all off the shelf stuff. It wasn't unique, patented equipment. It was largely off the shelf stuff with basically like Android tablets plugged into it. It's not something that Apple want to get involved with, but it's a shame that Apple didn't really take advantage of that moment when Peloton was really big, and then that moment when it seemed to be in trouble.
I mean, I'm like 99% sure this would never happen, but it would be really sick to see some treadmills and some bikes with iPads built in that run like a good Fitness Plus and had a bunch of other features on it. That would be sweet. That would never happen, but that would be awesome. And it would probably be crazy expensive. We do have a Peloton at home. My wife uses it a lot. And I honestly am very convinced based off of her usage and however other people talk. It's not necessarily the bike and the classes as much as it is the instructors. So I'm just really shocked that they didn't try to poach some of these instructors. But like you said, some of those instructors are the reasons why it's not family friendly. I've heard and seen some of the things they've said. So, whatever. I don't know if Apple really should focus on that or not. It's not like TV Plus is family friendly, but I get it. They want to focus on trying to include everyone if they can. So that's 3 out of 5 for you. And that is 2 out of 5 for me when we get into the home stretch of News Plus.
So
You go ahead. Go ahead.
ah, I have mixed feelings about News Plus because I really like the idea of it and I really like how they've sold it. Um, but I just feel like the news app is not a great experience. It is for magazines that take advantage of uh, all of the different integrations that Apple offers. But those that don't, and you just leaf through a PDF, basically, it's a bad
Oh,
experience.
it's
It's a
freaking
bad
horrible.
RSS reader.
It's
There's
so
huge
bad.
ads in the app, which is also annoying. Even when you are a subscriber to Apple News Plus, there are still enormous banner ads, which in a very small app on a small screen when you're scrolling through is annoying. And you're paying for that service. So I do wonder why there are ads there. If they'd focused on making that app to begin with a really good RSS reader, and put that experience first and foremost, with you can see very clearly a chronological timeline, and it operated a little bit more almost like a social media network cross RSS reader. That would be really good. But also, I think that news platforms, magazines, newspapers, largely are reluctant to get on this platform. And that also is something that holds it back a little bit. But I do use it, just not as much as I would like,
So that's a no for you then.
probably.
Okay. I open the news app on accident about once every 3 days and immediately close it. So it's a no for me. Now, here's the thing though. It is something I really do want to use more because I do like reading the news. Not necessarily like political world news because it's usually depressing, but I do, for the sake of like just being a citizen, want to stay up on that stuff. But it's mostly like things that I'm interested in. Uh, for a while, it was tech stuff. You know, I would use an RSS reader and do the tech stuff. But then, honestly, Twitter, it's tech and sports, and Twitter is just so good at that it's so hard for me to just break away. But it's like Twitter's so good at it, and it's also the most vile place on earth, to where like, yeah, I'm getting these bite-sized info of like, get to the point, here's what it is. But then I read the comments, and the comments are all just terrible things, and it just puts me in a bad mood. Whereas that wouldn't happen if I took the time to read the article and gather my own opinion and thoughts on it, rather than be swayed one way or another from people's anger. Long story short, I mean, I should use News Plus. I don't. So that is 2 services out of the 6 that I use, and you use 4 out of the 6, which is good. Good for you. No, wait. Yeah, you use 4. One, no, I lied. 1, 2. You use 3 out of the 6.
Right.
So because you don't use TV Plus. Okay. So that's 10, 20. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. You ready? I broke it down. Rough estimates, but it's close enough. Um, Congratulations. You are not necessarily losing any money by subscribing for the Premier plan. Also, you get the benefits of sharing with other people. So technically, if those people paid you, then you'd be even better off. But even if you were to pay the full price, which you are, all 3 of those services would cost you pretty much the exact same amount on their own. Um, and so you are fine. You get the same for those 3 services. You get extra 3 services added in. Whether you want to use them or not is up to you. I should definitely cancel this and just pay separately. I am losing about $18 a month. Um, so yeah, but I just look at it as a business expense because it's my job to know somewhat about these, or if something happens to them and they get a major update and I got to make a video on it, I already have it, and it's there. I
But for most people, you are saving at least, what, $20 minimum, overpaying for the whole package at full price.
What do you mean? So
So,
like most people did like TV, music, and cloud.
well, if
If
you
you
were to
just
pay for the whole bundle, in fact, I probably can pull this up here. Um, right. So if you pay for every one of the services, that comes to a total of $67.
66, yeah, yeah.
Um, so just paying $38, that is a
Sure.
significant saving. And that means that broadly, whoever you are, if you don't use a couple of these services, it is still a good deal.
Right. But I mean, that's like, the whole trend going around of girl math going around. I do that a lot. And so we'll call it Dan math, where it just doesn't, like, you're not using them, so why should you pay for them? But in my mind, I'm like, what's a good deal though? I'm saving it's half off. Like, why wouldn't I do it? But I'm not using it. And if I went down to the bundle that offered the stuff that I actually do use, it's literally $20 a month. The only problem is I have to have at least 2 terabytes of storage, because there is no
You can
1
add the
terabyte.
storage separately.
So that's what I want to see. How much is that? iCloud plus storage tiers. Let's see. Okay, plans and pricing. So for 50 gigs, we don't have the price here. Where is the price? It's 99 cents for. Why do they have this so weirdly priced out?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. 50
tiers.
gigs is 99 cents, right? 200 gigs is $2.99. 2 terabytes is $9.99. 6 terabytes is $30, and 12 terabytes is $60. Damn, should I just and we'll talk about this afterwards, because that's another interesting conversation that I'm curious what your take is on that. Okay, so I need 2 terabytes. That's $9.99. Let's say I do the individual plan, so they'll add on $9. Is that what you're saying? Is that how that would work? Because it's 99 cents.
You've lost me there.
So it's 99 cents for 50 gigs, right, on the
Yeah.
individual plan.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to make it the 2 terabytes of iCloud Plus, but then keep everything else the same, it's just adding on $9.
Right.
Just trust me. I think that's
okay. I trust you.
Because it's $9.99 for 2 terabytes. So if I'm not paying the $9.99 for it makes sense. I think. I don't know. So
Okay.
$9.99, that's $20, $27, 11, $38. Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. If you did, well, okay. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would be close. It would be close, and then the Dan math would come in and be like, "Well, I might as well just spend an extra $6."
Well, you would feel like you were missing out a little bit, wouldn't you? Just a
No, I
little
wouldn't.
bit.
No,
Really?
dude, the amount of subscriptions I pay for is gross, and I should purge things.
How many subscriptions are you paying for?
Oh, I don't even know. That's how you know you
Oh,
have a
no.
problem. That's how you know you have a problem. Let's go through some of them. Let's not. I mean, why not? We're in the. This is. There's no rules to this episode. This is all about services. We've talked enough about Apple One. Is it worth it? Probably. If you use at least 3 of these, I think it's worth it. Definitely,
Yeah,
if
I'd
you're an
agree with that.
iCloud. Definitely, if you're 2 terabytes TV Plus and a music family user. Yeah, 100%. It might as well. Other than that, I mean, it might be better to do a la carte. But let's name them. Netflix. I pay for that. Do you pay for that? Let's
Yeah.
take a tally. Okay, so that's 1 and 1. I've got 2 hands here. We pay for Apple One. We'll add that in there. Do you pay for HBO Max?
No, we don't have that here.
Sorry about your loss. It's good, but I don't know if you're missing out a whole lot. I do have it, but I don't pay for it technically. It comes with my internet subscriber thing. So that doesn't count, but we'll say that's 3. Paramount Plus. Now, here's the thing. I subscribe to Paramount Plus through Apple TV channels,
Right.
and it was like a cheap price. Then they raised it, and I canceled it, or at least I thought I did. But I still have it. And I'm pretty sure when I found out that I still have it, I went and looked at the payment history, and it didn't. I don't want to call myself out. I might be getting free Paramount Plus. I'm not totally sure, but I have that. Okay. Do you don't have Paramount Plus? Do they have that there?
If they do, I don't have it.
Okay. So you're at 2. I'm at 4. I have Peacock, but I'm stealing that from my dad. But I'm gonna just add it into the list of subscriptions that I have. Did we talk about Netflix?
Yes, we did. What about Disney Plus?
Yeah, I have Disney Plus. Well, that's a whole bundle. I have I don't have enough hands. I have Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus through a bundle.
How do you have enough time for any of that?
I don't. I don't watch any of it. I have kids though, so you do have to understand. Disney Plus is like that is never going away in our house. That is 100% used. There was like a whole outrage about Disney and people trying to boycott. We're only giving them more money, so um, yeah, it's never going to happen. The mouse is ruling our house, so we pay for that, and it just bundles with other things. Oh Jesus, we have way too much stuff. Did we said Netflix already, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay, sorry, my brain is lost. um, YouTube TV, that's my cable.
Oh, okay.
I pay for that, but that's only because of sports. Ugh. Am I missing anything else? There's got to be more.
Well, then you get into app subscriptions.
Oh boy, I think I literally have every streaming subscription you could think of, which is sad. And we don't have time, and we're absolutely wasting our money. And then app subscriptions. I mean, I pay $4.99 a month for Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro. I do not use them. I use Final Cut Pro every once in a while. I do not use Logic Pro. Should probably cancel that. Pay for SetApp. Shout out SetApp. Good stuff there. Pay for Premiere Pro, which I do use After Effects and Photoshop and Lightroom. So that actually does get used, but it's an insane amount of money.
X Pro?
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, didn't they just come out with another one?
Whatever it is, the paid tier of it, I don't know.
Is there only one paid tier?
I think there are multiple now, but
I only pay for whatever the first one was, the first one was, which honestly I should probably get rid of. But, oh boy, how are you? Where are you at in this? Just like a handful.
I mean, I pay for Apple One. I pay for Netflix. I pay for a couple of app subscriptions, like I pay for Ulysses, but I've got that locked down at a low price because I've been using it for nearly a decade at this point. I have a subscription to a parcel tracking app that's about $2 a year or something like that. But other than that, and obviously Twitter, yeah, I mean, probably not really anything else.
I'm trying to look up because you can look up the subscriptions, and now I'm sad because I feel like it's going to be bad.
I think what we've learned in this episode is that if a subscription service exists, chances are you are subscribed to it, and chances are you don't use it.
iTunes Match, yeah, $25 a year.
What are you using that for?
Hey, I have a very extensive library that was pre-streaming, okay?
Is it not all available on streaming now?
It is, for the most part. Some of it's not. And it just, for that small little bit of stuff that was like friends bands that don't exist anymore.
What is that doing now? Because if I put MP3s, I drag them into the Apple Music app on my Mac, they appear on my iPhone in the music.
Okay. Wait.
So what are you using it for?
I don't know. I thought that was what I was using it for. What? I've been paying $25 a year.
I mean, I thought it didn't exist anymore, but maybe it's
I thought so too, but it says it renews here July 17th.
Let me look into this. How strange.
Does it actually?
Maybe it's intended for if you don't have Apple Music.
Oh, well, so Apple Music gives you iTunes Match technology just in general.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's working for me.
Should I try canceling iTunes Match and then see what happens in July?
Well, I don't want to be responsible for messing up your many decades of music collecting on iTunes.
Yeah, I would be very upset about that. I also pay for a parcel tracking delivery app, but it cancels in January, so I don't know. I pay for Paste, which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure you get that in Set app, but I'm still paying 99 cents a month for it. um, Jesus, this is terrible. I no wonder why I'm poor. Uh, yeah. If you guys want instant money back, go through your subscriptions right now and just cancel them all. That's probably hundreds of dollars a month, which is gross. Yeah. Well, now I'm depressed. Do we have anything else that we want to talk about? Oh,
Well,
wait. There was one thing. The iCloud Plus. Do you think it's worth it for like people who pay for Dropbox, which I'm pretty sure I'm one of them, um, to just strictly go to the like massive terabyte pricing here? That's like I can get 12 terabytes for $59 a month. Do you think it's worth like do people use iCloud and Dropbox in the same way? Can't it be used in the same way?
well, you can't use iCloud in the same way from a Windows machine.
Yeah, but who cares about that? We're just talking strictly Apple stuff.
Okay, if we're talking in the Apple ecosystem, you can't use it to back stuff up, and you're not going to get integration with the Photos app.
What do you mean back
Um,
stuff up?
well, I
You're
can't
talking
back
about
up. Yeah,
Dropbox.
I can't back up my iPhone to Dropbox,
Right.
and I can't save. The cloud will not save from the Photos app to Dropbox. So,
Right.
for convenience, that is ostensibly better. I mean, maybe something like Google's cloud storage is convenient if you use Google Photos, but really, I think that Dropbox is more popular for people that do a lot of storage of desktop files
So that's what I'm
um,
talking about for like
and
like
file
my
sharing.
my files. Like
Right.
like if I was working with an editor, why would I drop stuff off to Dropbox when I could just put it in iCloud and then just like send them a link to the folder?
I
Is it
think
not as
the
good at that?
I think the truth is it's just not a great experience with iCloud doing that.
Ugh. I've
Unfortunately,
I've done the folder thing before,
yeah,
but I've
it,
only
it it works well with folders of small stuff like spreadsheets and maybe a couple of like low resolution photos and stuff. But if you're throwing video files in there, it takes so long for me to upload to iCloud, and that's not because of my internet speed, for what it's worth. It's
nah.
just it's always been that way with iCloud that it is extremely slow with pushing up video and pulling it back down.
It is really slow, actually, now that I think about this, because that would be the way that I would share when we would record these episodes locally, and I would save that file instead of like getting a drive and sending it from this computer to my main computer at the other desk. I would just throw it in iCloud Drive and then just get it on the other one, but it would take forever. So you're right about that. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. So 2 terabytes is fine. I'm just using it for phone storage and some computer stuff, but nothing crazy. Um, yeah. Anything else that you want to talk about in terms of services?
Well, I wonder if there are any other services that are coming in the
Hmm.
pipeline, because I think there are little openings for this.
Like what?
Well, I would say something like Apple Books Plus.
Hmm.
Kindle has Kindle Unlimited, which is effectively a books streaming service, if you like. It gives you access to thousands of books. I'm surprised
Is it
Apple
like
hasn't done that.
it's not like any book? Like I can't just go in and get the late like a new book from the best author drops. Can I go and get that?
No, they have to participate in Kindle Unlimited. So Kindle Unlimited is in fact limited, but you still get like several thousand books to choose from,
Yeah.
and that's a pretty good thing. And I think that Apple would do
Man,
well and would increase the adoption of Apple Books if they offered that service, and if they rolled that in as well with Apple One, that would make it even more attractive.
that would kill books if that actually existed though. Like every book, like music, how it is now, even though it hasn't killed music, it certainly hasn't helped artists. You know, a lot of the media, you know, mid tier to lower end artists that relied on sales now get fractions of streamings cuts for revenue. Mostly relied on going to shows and stuff. Like, what does an author do? They can do a book tour, but like that, those people are buying books. So, like, if you are an unlimited subscriber or an Apple TV or Apple Books Plus subscriber and could get every book, you would never buy another book again. There's no point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best comparison is something like Apple TV Plus, really, in the sense that you we don't have access to everything on the iTunes store, movies and TV shows. It is something separate, and I can completely see that coming at some
Oh, do
point.
you think like getting like a library of authors that they exclusively sign and like those people get the cut
Yeah,
of that stuff?
it could be that, or it could just be when you upload your books as a publisher, you can choose to participate, which is the same way that Kindle operates it, because it would be a direct rival to that service that Amazon currently offers. Then there's other things, because Apple offers podcast subscriptions. Networks
Yeah.
can offer them. So I can completely imagine Apple operating its own podcast network that you can opt into as a provider, and then Apple hosts the podcast, and then there is some sort of subscription where maybe that is only available through that platform, but then you get a cut of revenue from that. So Apple Podcasts Plus. So I think there are loads of opportunities for even stuff like you could imagine the health app, Apple Health Plus, and maybe that's got some AI tools, and it gives you it ties together your information and it uses the cloud way more to um, get some insights into your information in ways that it currently is quite limited.
Maybe they could I would pay, now this is trouble. I would pay a boatload of money a month if I had like Apple Health Plus and it had like a little database of doctors that were just always available for a quick FaceTime, like a 5 minute, hey doc, does this require me to go to the, like what do I do kind of thing? You know,
I
those virtual
remember
visits.
I don't remember where it came from. This possibly would have been about a year ago. There was a well-sourced report that Apple at some point was planning to aggressively move into healthcare, um, and that those would have been the sort of services that would have been available.
Be
So it's
useful.
definitely never say never. I can imagine Apple doing something like that, so that it kind of works with maybe your Apple Watch, and when you get a notification from your Apple Watch that your blood pressure is trending up, or it's recognize something, it then can prompt you and say, now you need a session with our virtual doctor or a video call. And then that can then refer you to a healthcare provider. But it adds a little layer, and Apple could sell that as though, well, you now don't need to necessarily immediately go to more expensive healthcare services, because we're going to add that little layer in, and it will be really convenient. And maybe you get one session a month free with your Apple One bundle, or I can
Yeah.
completely see Apple One growing over
Sure.
time with more tiers. What I'd really like is that you could choose what you get in the bundle.
Throw
That
in
would make it
therapists.
perfect.
Throw in therapists for that too. Mental health.
Yeah.
There's loads. I mean, that already exists in some platforms. So I mean, very easy to do that. Um, with podcasts, I agree. I think still with certain podcasts, at least for some of the ones that I listen to, bonus content is a mess. It's either like one app specifically can support it and you can go through that, or because I don't use Apple Podcasts and I believe they are, you know, like you said, they have options to get those bonus episodes. Spotify does not, from what I've seen, or at least the podcast that I know has bonus content does not offer me an ability to get that. And that's, I want to keep it all on the same platform. um I don't want to jump to Patreon. I don't want to go to their private website.
Yeah.
And it's just like I know it's directly supporting them, but it's just not convenient for me. um so yeah.
On that point, I'd also love to see better support for video podcasts, and for that to be available in the TV app.
Yeah.
Because a lot of third-party podcast apps don't support video podcasts. They've been around for a long time, but they are supported in Apple's podcast app. But why can I not get that in my up next queue, say
Do
on
you
Apple
watch a
TV?
lot of video podcasts?
I don't. I like to listen to them, because where I
Me
like to
too.
listen to them at double speed, it kind of freaks me out if I can watch that. So
Yeah. I don't, I still think when people listen to podcasts at double speed, it's a little weird for me. But you know, you guys do
you
your
have
own
to
thing.
work your way up to it. You can't do it
Nah, I
straight away.
can't. I'm cool with just like, I don't often pay attention 100% to a podcast either. I'm usually driving. I'm 99.9% driving if I'm listening to a podcast. And you know, sometimes I zone out, but most of the time I'm just listening. I don't need to see it. I don't need it to go any faster than it already is. It's fine. However, there was a shout out. If you guys like comedian Daniel Tosh, he had that Tosh.0 show that was really popular. He just came out with a podcast. That's the only one that I physically have watched. And it's not like he's doing anything at all different. He's just talking. But for some reason, I just like it's like they're shorter enough to like watch. It's like a longer YouTube comedy video, basically. And he's just interviewing random people. He refuses to interview like legit celebrities. He didn't want to do it that way. He interviewed his wife's gynecologist. He interviewed his like buddy that lives next door. It was just random people. And that was the only one that I've ever watched. But that's my roundabout way of saying definitely check out that podcast. It's cool, but I don't watch video podcasts. So I don't know that I would need that for anything except for this one weird offshoot. And there are podcasts that I listen to where they are referencing like things that they're watching or looking at in pictures, and like it would make sense for me to go and check it out. I just never do it. I use my imagination.
I mean, it's not essential, but some people really like it. And I think that for those people, putting it in the TV app really makes sense. Or at least providing it more clearly as an up next in the podcast app.
Maybe we should start doing things. Let's get a little meta here. Maybe we should start doing weird stuff on video, but never mention it in the audio. Like maybe we're just wearing weird things or moving around a lot or doing, I don't know, but like never draw attention to it. And the only way you would do that is if you watched it. Sometimes I like to show the camera things and it never focuses. And so if you're one of those people that have watched my blurry phone screen when I'm trying to show you something, that's a perk, I guess. I don't know. All right. Well, that's the services. You're probably, moral of the story, you're probably paying for too much. So you should get rid of some subscriptions. But Apple One, seemingly, if you use at least 2 or 3 of the main staples that cost the most, you're probably getting close to your money's worth. But I think if they start going up anymore, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I think generally it is good value.
I think Apple TV Plus is honestly a pretty strong TV platform.
Oh, it's getting there.
Yeah. So, wow, you don't watch it. Don't talk like you watch.
Well, like I read about it. I know where it is. I know what's on there.
Hartley's a poser.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Watch Severance, for the love of God, man. Watch Severance.
Eventually, one day. I promise.
No, you just do it. Just get off of this show. Watch it. Just watch one. Eat lunch and watch it. Okay?
Well, we'll see if by the next time we discuss this, which I'm sure we will in a year, whether I have or not.
Whenever the new Severance comes out and I tell you how amazing it is.
Yeah, when there start being spoilers, maybe that'll prompt me.
I'm gonna have to hear you be like, "Oh, I haven't watched it yet." Sorry, that's a horrible. That's a horrible impression, but all right. We'll catch everybody in the next episode, and yep, see ya.